All right, cool. So, hey, Alden, what's going on,
What's up,
man?
Jason?
Hey,
What's going on, man?
anything and everything, man. It's awesome. It's another awesome day, and thanks for talking with me, everybody. I'm Jason. I'm talking with my buddy Alden, and we're both in Distinguished Agent, which is with BC. We know him as BC. You guys may have seen him on YouTube and on Instagram, Brian Casella. And we're just both real estate agents. But what's really cool is that Alden is like super, super motivated. And I wanted to tap into a little bit of like what motivates him. And right, like just now we couldn't help but like talk. We were talking about like fitness and jujitsu. We both did jujitsu. So how does jujitsu relate to real estate and or sales, or like it just like winning and getting what you want?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. And
Yeah.
I'm Alden, by the way. Like all my social media is Alden the Realtor. Yeah, me and Jason met through Distinguished Agent, BC's mentorship community. Truly great stuff. Um, but when it comes to like jujitsu and I got started in jujitsu a long time ago. I just kind of had a passion for it, but I always used to try to really get people, and I guess this almost ties into sales, right? I've always tried to get people, even back in the day, like I'm like, man, I was in love with jujitsu. I was trying to get
Yeah.
everybody to train, but yet I couldn't
Yeah.
get people to train.
Oh, you were
And
like religious about it. You're like trying to convert people, trying to get them to come over and stuff.
oh man, I would be like, everybody needs to train jujitsu, but
Yeah.
it's hard, right? It's hard, and it really, in the same way as sales or really anything you get started in, you have to be bad first. And jujitsu really tests your ego because as a man, you're over there, these dudes are destroying you, and you have to be able to, overcome that, rationalize it in your mind. Like, this is just a process, just like everything else. As I continue to improve and work on my skills and build myself up, I will get better. And I always have enjoyed the technical aspect of everything. Let me become as skilled as possible so that no matter the person's size, no matter who I'm going against, no matter what situation I'm in, I'm able to, handle myself and come out on top. And that really is a metaphor, for all the above, right? Sales, whatever you attack in life. But jujitsu, man, it's very humbling, and
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
incredible exercise. And there's just so many benefits to martial arts. I couldn't say enough good things about, getting in any martial art.
I love that the how technical it is and how somebody who's maybe not look so strong can totally kick your ass with jujitsu.
Just the littlest guys are the sneakiest.
Oh man, and they just totally kill you. The first dude that I trained with, I thought I was, I didn't think I was like a killer or anything, but I was like muscular and I exercise a lot and I was like
Uh,
19. This dude was a yoga instructor. I was 165 and he was like 130, maybe 135. And I was like, I'm gonna smush this guy. And he was rapping and choking, and I was like, holy shit. Oh, and another thing that was cool about the jujitsu dudes, I don't know if there's like Brazilian dudes, but they were all Brazilian dudes and like they could kill you with their hands.
man, they're
Coolest
tough.
guys I ever met. Coolest people. And they didn't care like what culture you were from. When you hung out with them, when you did jujitsu with them, you like hang out with them and you go out with them and stuff too. I was like a punk kid. I was 19. They're all like 25 and 30. Oh man. Are there Brazilian dudes who made their way over there? You're in North Carolina, right?
North Carolina, yeah, exactly.
They're
Absolutely,
like
man.
crazy family descendants and stuff like that out there.
Oh, 100%, man. They really spread throughout the U.S. They kind of
Yeah.
took over. And they are.
Opportunity.
It's a great culture. They're really passionate about what they do, and they share the knowledge, and they're great at it. And um, even, and I always like kind of back into real estate because we're real estate agents, but
Mm-hmm.
the community aspect of anything, the more you indulge into the community, the more you get out of it. So the relationships you create, the friendships that you have, the things you can learn from these types of people. Because man, I really train with some incredible people, and um, you know, being around that type of person is so powerful, man. Because you learn the secrets to the trade, and
Yeah.
that community, again, I just the importance of community, man, and the Brazilian culture, and a lot of those people in jiu-jitsu, they're really a tight-knit people.
Yeah.
um and I have a lot of respect for that. I mean, they'll sleep on the
So,
mats, wake up the next day and train.
oh man. Do you feel like you learn better from like if back when you were a white belt, did you learn better from blue belts and purple belts, or did you learn best from the black belt?
I think I learned best from the black belt because I always look for the top. Like that's anything I've done, right? I remember when I was and this is funny. When I think I was graduating high school and I was just getting into jiu-jitsu and I was going to try to go the MMA route. But my
Yeah,
dad,
yeah.
he was I respected my dad a lot, and he was a very risk averse person.
Mm,
So when I would have ideas, it was always it was the doubts. That is that a good idea? Da, da, da. And I let that seep into my mind. I guess more than I should have, right? Rather than follow my dreams, but I would always look for the top people, and so I would, as soon as these courses came out, the Mendez brothers, the training websites came out. Well,
yeah,
I started learning from them, and the way that they were able to break down these super complex moves and explain them in such precise detail, you can't go wrong learning the correct way in the simplest format possible from the get go. It's the
yeah.
best way to learn. And when I started learning from these guys, I was paying for the website, I was going in here, these moves that I had seen a million times from different instructors and whatnot, and I'd
Right.
seen them explained in this way, and I was able to go out and implement them. And then not only was I able to implement them because they explained them so easily and so well, but I was also able to teach them right to other people because it was just broken down so perfectly.
Wow.
And I really see the value in finding the best person possible, because I think, what is the quote, Albert Einstein or one of these guys say, if you
Hmm.
can't teach it to a 5-year-old, then you don't know it well enough.
Got to break it down simple. Oh,
Got to
how
make
about, did you ever buy any courses from like Henner Gracie or those guys? Like the original like Gracie clan?
I didn't, man. I was sort of a gym hopper, so the
Mhm.
traditionalists, they didn't love, I wasn't super loyal to their style, and
What? Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't have a great. The guy I was learning from, he was like a hardcore traditionalist, and he kind of got mad at me because I was doing a little more of the new school stuff.
What? Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
so I didn't dive into that.
All right, there was a guy, and his name was Dave Camarillo, and he was a black belt in judo, black belt in jujitsu, and he made a whole video about this when YouTube and all that stuff was kind of new. He was like, "This is BS," saying that guys from this gym shouldn't train from that gym or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
on the back of his shirt was "Train with everybody." And I was kind of a gym hopper myself because the dude that I met, it was just at a capoeira studio, and he was working in a restaurant. I think he was even undocumented and all this stuff. He didn't know any English. He'd be like, mm, like he would just like, and then just point to us. He would show the armbar and then just like point. No English. Picked it up pretty damn fast. He picked it up like in 6 months. But this dude would take me to different gyms, and I didn't know where I was going. There's just like 6 surfer dudes. We were in a surf shop, and they all said, "Hey, come." We just pay him like $20 a lesson or something. It was crazy. And he was one of the few black belts. This is like in 2005, so like one of the few black belts that actually was there in the United States.
You were in the early days.
I guess. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this shit is weak. What the fuck is it?" I was like, "What the hell? There's no punching or kicking." Because my friend said, "Hey, we're gonna do jujitsu," and I pictured guys like doing flying kicks and like a flip with a punch or something. And then when I saw what it was, I was like, "What the hell is this? Is wrestling or something?" What? But then when those guys were snapping my arm and choking my neck, I was like, "Oh, okay, there's something to it."
It's different.
But going back to that dude, he when all the surfer dudes flaked out, he took me to all these top guys. Do you know the Machado brothers?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he took me to Higan Machado. He'd take
We
me to
had some
the gym.
cousins down this way.
Really,
Yeah, yeah.
Machado and Gracie. So like one time, like he didn't have his gi. He's like, "Hey, come with me, man. We're gonna go train." And I'm like, "Cool." And he's like, "We're gonna go to Higan's gym." And then so I go to Higan's gym, and he's just like wearing a sweatsuit, and I'm like, "Bro, you're gonna train?" And he's like, "No, you're gonna train though. It's gonna be good." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I'm rolling with this dude, bunch of people just destroying me, triangles and stuff. And there's this big mean dude just standing like this, huge guy, and I'm like, "Oh shit, that's Higan." He's looking at me like, "Who the fuck is this guy in my gym? He didn't pay, he didn't this and that." I'm like, "Dude, what did my buddy get me into?" Oh man, gym hopping is the best though, because then you don't have that dogmatic shit, right? Of don't do the twister or don't do this or don't do that. That
I
ties
always
to the
gravitated towards I gravitated towards Eddie Bravo stuff in the beginning. I was like, I got to learn from
so
Eddie. I
cool.
actually went to a seminar.
Yeah, dude, that stuff's not controversial anymore though. I mean, now
No,
even
it's
like Mendez brothers do that stuff, right? They were showing Twister and Twister Defense. My dude was a black belt under. So who I linked up with later was a black belt under Fabricio Verdum, the first guy to beat Fedor with the triangle,
not.
and his name was Gustavo Gasparin. A very like he had traditional stuff, but he had the berimbolo, he had the all the new school Twister and all that stuff too. So that was like the new and the old.
The new and the old mix, yeah.
So being non-traditional and going against the grain, do you think it helps you in sales and in real estate too?
Um, I think in anything like especially entrepreneurship, and this is a tough thing for. It's always been really tough for me to grasp personally, and it's been tough for. I think it's tough for a lot of people because the way the school system is set up, you're not designed to stand out. But in entrepreneurship, you need to be different. Come out with different products. Stand out with your, whether it be your approach, your look, the way you speak, whatever. You have to stand out, right? And so otherwise, you're just going to blend in with everybody else, especially in real estate. When you're an entrepreneur, if you come up with a separate product, there's that way. But as a real estate agent, we all provide the same service. So
it's all about us. Yeah.
Absolutely. We all provide the same service. So it's how good are you and do you stand out enough to separate yourself? So that's something that I really struggle with a lot of times. But again, I'll credit BC because he really preaches uniqueness, being different. And not you do it in your own way. Like you don't have to copy BC, you don't have to be exactly another BC, but stand out in your own unique way. And the way we really stand out is through communication. We're just having better conversations with people. We're saying different stuff. We're presenting the information in a different way, and we're just more effective with everything that we say. And I never was like a salesperson. My dad, he was saying that same risk averse. Don't be pushy in sales. Don't stand out too much. And
your dad did sales too?
No, he doesn't. He didn't at all. He's like he worked for the government.
But so, that was his advice.
That was his advice, right? Don't be pushy. Nobody wants a pushy salesman. Yeah. And so I had to learn these lessons the hard way. Now, thankfully, I had mentors, BC, and some other mentors that I had. But, I had to stand out, and ultimately through communication, it's just. Isn't that crazy? So I wouldn't say that stuff really made a difference, but I think it definitely helps at the least.
Like for example, like if you talk to an expired and then you're gonna go by the script, and you need to know the script to have the guide of where to go, like get
100%.
But then sometimes you gotta throw something based on their emotion or the situation, right? So that like kind of improvisation makes the moment, right?
100%, man, 100%. And everybody says, we don't want to be robotic with the script. And you're right. When you start, you probably will be a little more robotic, but you have to learn. It's just a step in the process.
Just intonation and how you say it can make it unique. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, you door knock or do you mostly call expireds?
I'll knock every now and then, but I mostly do. Like now that it's warmed up, I'll probably go knock more often. But
you guys, it actually gets cold out there. It actually
gets cold over here, unfortunately. I thought about moving, but I'm gonna stay put for a little while.
Nice. Well, that's tough because you built this whole structure right there. You built the whole, that'd be interesting.
Well, yeah. So if I were to move, I would like try to build out a team, and I would just build out a team, put some pieces in place to run what I built, and then go do it in another city. I may or may not. I've been thinking about it more, and I'll probably stay put for a while and just do my thing and maybe buy properties in different cities and states and do it that way.
That'd be awesome. So by the way, if you were investing in North Carolina, like in a fairly good area,
Mhm.
How much would it cost to, let's see, like a small starter home, like maybe a nice 3 bedroom home? How much would you be looking to pay, more or less?
I mean, in Raleigh, that's from the prices in Raleigh. I'm in the capital, so the
Mhm.
prices in Raleigh are going up, right? But there's smaller cities. A lot of the people here, and I don't have any investment properties yet. I'm hoping to pick up my first one this year.
Nice.
Um, just in the smaller cities, about an hour and a half outside of Raleigh. I mean, you could pick one up for 150K,
Oh,
130K.
sweet. Are you
Yeah, yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
again,
that's awesome.
you're not going to get that same level of appreciation, but
That's
you're going to
okay.
get your cash flow, you're going to get your rent, you're going to pay down the mortgage and get your tax
Right.
benefits.
Pay down the mortgage, get the tax benefits, and when the tenant's been paying it and the interest rates go down, refinance. Even if it's one small one, buy another, buy another.
Exactly, and that's my plan.
So you put like 20% down or something like that, and then maybe a little more for fixing it. Another, I mean, you put like $20,000 down, and then maybe like another 15 or $20,000 to fix it up, more or less. You could get somebody in there.
100%, yeah,
Awesome.
100%. Probably you don't even probably need that much money.
Are you serious, dude? Okay, I need to talk to you, and I need to get you into me, me into that because
Yeah.
it's crazier out here. It's crazier out here, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, what's because you're in LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What part of LA are you in?
So west side of LA. So most people know I just say Venice. You know Venice Beach.
I'm
Most people have
familiar.
visited or seen it in a movie, blah blah,
For
right?
sure, for sure.
It's like, yeah, it's like the ocean of like downtown, but go a little bit towards the ocean. Like the main part of LA. West LA, Santa Monica.
West Hollywood, like West Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, not quite. I mean, this is how weird it is. I'm only 5 miles away from West Hollywood, but I'm like an hour and a half in traffic away from West Hollywood. And real estate
Yeah.
prices were not the same as West Hollywood. I grew up in what was like a smaller town in LA called Culver City. I don't know if the
Okay.
name has the name ever popped up. Have you heard? Because
No,
this
I
thing
don't
is
think
crazy.
so.
Oh, okay. People across the country and people in other countries know now, like Culver City. It's like one day we just looked around and like just a crappy fixer house $1 million. We're like, what the fuck? Are you
Yeah,
kidding me? I
yeah,
thought
I
this was
believe
like
it.
some weird dream or something. And I was like, okay, this will definitely reverse itself pretty soon. Bam, 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 bam. It just keeps going. Like a piece of crap fixer is like $1.2 million. Like, what?
That's
This is where I grew
insane,
up.
man. Imagine if you bought in the early days.
My parents, my parents bought their home for $350,000. It's worth almost $2 million right now.
What a buy. And then that's the nice thing about real estate, man. It just always goes up. And it's not something I appreciated back in the day, but as
Mm-hmm.
I've again matured, gotten older, and learned some things, like you can't go wrong with it. Are you how long have you been in the business?
It's been 4 years, four
Okay.
years, and I linked up with a team that, like a family friend, like a guy who's like really good friends with my dad, and he's like doing really big stuff. And he's almost like a guy. He's almost like a BC kind of a guy, and
Okay.
yeah, and he used to have a big team, but now he just like him and like a few other agents, but he does like really high end stuff. So he's kind of let me into that world. And I got lucky, man, because when I got started, I got to do open houses for him, even and he would give me an education. It would be crazy though. Yeah, I mean, you can imagine a guy like that so busy. He's like just talking to me as we're like, he's like, here, I'll go with you to the open house. He's like walking and talking and like, okay, I gotta go. What? Like he'd give me good advice. We'd like, hey, da, 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 like 30 seconds, and then like, okay, bye, like that. Or like, hey, this is your first escrow. Well, tell him this, tell him that, da, da, da. Okay, bye. Oh shit, did I write all that down? It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. You can't beat that. How
Right.
many transactions have you are you doing? Like where are you at in your business? I'm just kind of curious.
Right now, I do like 5 or 6 per year. I do 5 or 6 per year, and the price point is like anywhere from 1.5 million to the best ones that I've done is like 2.5 million, 2.3 million.
Solid, man.
But yeah, it's harder to get that quantity up there. I want to get the
Mhm.
quantity. So that's what I'm trying to tap into. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of competition. There's certain little pockets that I know really well. and I'll just like keep revisiting. Like before, to make time to chat with you, I'm just calling people on my phone,
Mhm.
trying to get the right number of contacts before. Just went home, started calling people. No. But like usually I'm outdoor knocking almost every day, door knocking, and then circling
I
around.
love that.
Yeah, but at first, like the old school dudes in LA, they just like hit up neighborhoods and they just circulate neighborhoods. So that's what they told me to do. And it wasn't until I started following BC, like, dude, you need to focus more like on a lead, non-owner occupants, expireds, and da da da. I had
Mhm.
no clue no concept of what an expired was or like how to hit them up, you know? And
Really?
yeah, I mean, that was kind of cool because I bought Kevin Ward's book and I just walked right up to a couple of expireds, like, and they like told me weird lies, and I was like, what? Like it didn't make sense. I was just like, what? They're like, this home was never for sale. And I'm like, just honestly, I was like, really? I think it like, and then so that's where the BC side came in of like attacking expires and like knowing this. So I do the mixture of what my mentor does. Like he knows this neighborhood, he knows that neighborhood. He'll call me like, hey, so and so, like their family said that they needed to sell the family home or they're retiring and da da da. Like he'll call me and I'll head over to that house. But other than that, this is what I do. I sprinkle on. I first do expireds, like 2 or 3 of them, and then I
Mhm.
head to the farm, and they know me already and circulate the farm. And that's what every day is pretty much like. Is like hit up 3 or 4 expireds, and instead of door knocking the doors around the expired, maybe 5 or 10, maybe get
Mhm.
5 or 10 contacts there, 5 or 10 doors for each one, and then boom, the next hour or two is like circulating that neighborhood.
Yeah, I love that, dude. Because I really appreciate door knocking as well, and I'm gonna go out and start probably hitting some more doors. I had, matter of fact, it's crazy. It's crazy how good door knocking is. I had a listing out. It's way out, but it's in a higher end neighborhood in that community, and I door knocked the entire neighborhood in a day. It took me a couple hours, maybe like 3 hours. Probably about
Nice.
100 doors or something like that, and I got like 3 quality leads. Three
Just
people who
going.
are like, I don't have an agent, I want to sell my property, and great, got their
Just the
contact
neighborhood.
information, and I'm in touch with them.
Nice.
And so, but that face to face interaction is, I feel much more powerful. However, I feel like you can still have that same level of conversation over the phone, which is
Yeah.
why I enjoy the phone. But it's nice to get out and
I
socialize
hate the
with people.
phone,
And
dude. Hate it. Hate
oh,
the
do you hate the phone?
Yeah, because I feel like they don't know who I am and I'm just another caller. But I stagger like every other day. I learned to like the phone because you could make more contacts.
Mhm.
And then also like I could be a little more comfortable here if like I'll still door knock maybe an hour or maybe get 10 contacts door knocking. And then
Mhm.
so like I got these like funny issues with my feet, like I'm flat footed. So I'll stagger like one day is calling, one day is door knocking, one day is calling, one day is door knocking.
Yeah.
I mean, like still door knock 1 or 2 leads, but like not door knock the whole like 3 or 4 hours on those other days. But yeah, I love door knocking. Like you said, the face to face, getting people's phone number. That was a trip in the beginning, dude. It's like, oh, so Jim, why don't we stay in touch? What's your best number? Duh. Like that. Like
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
just so weird at first.
When
Um,
did you start? Was it BC when you started collecting the numbers, or was it
yeah, yeah, because the old school guys like just go there and talk to people, and they'll eventually sell their home. And I'm like,
really?
yeah, just hours of talking to people like, hey, do you want to sell? And it was just one YouTube video where BC was like, dude, you're fucking wasting your time if you're not getting their phone number. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I would get their phone number if they said they needed to do something or if they happen to like me, but I wouldn't. And then that made it like my mission to go out there and like every time go out there, get 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. I think that was a
That's
little robotic, dude. I was kind of going out there and like, oh shit, I got 10 phone numbers today, but like how qualified are they, and I kind of like rush through the part where you get the phone number. So like
but I mean that's always the process of like, and I view this too, where it's like, um, it's the process of getting it. Where BC even talks about, pushing too far. You need to
mm,
push. What? How do you know? Like everybody's afraid of following up. Not following up enough times, but or everybody's afraid of, how was I can't remember how to phrase it. It's been a long day.
I think I
Basically
know what
not
you're getting.
following everybody, nobody follows up enough because they're worried about following up too much. But how many people have actually lost a lead from following up too much?
Yeah.
Very few people. So even the same thing with the door knocking, right? It's like because that's the process I went through to learn things. Where it's like I came from a very stand back, like very soft, never wanted to push,
Mm.
not want to be too aggressive. So when I would go to close, I would let people off the hook. But then there was
Yeah.
one week where I ended up losing. I was an ISA. I ended up losing 5 appointments. So I had talked to these people, and 5 people had told me to call them back next week. I called back all 5 of them. And then there was actually 2 more who were like previous follow-ups. And every single person, and these were like fresh expireds, told me they had listed with another agent. And
Hmm.
I was like, and then I lost my other follow-ups because they had told me. Now those were like months gaps with the last two, but they had told me they had listed with other agents. And at that point, I'm like, fuck, like I gotta start pushing people. So then I really started closing hard. And I figured, and then like I was closing hard, closing hard, closing hard. And I really can't think of a time where I closed too hard, which is kind of funny, but I
Mm.
found that balance. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You could go a
And,
little hard on the first two where you're kind of experiment. Unfortunately for them, right? Like if it's your first time giving somebody a tattoo, you're not going to tell them like, bro, you're the first person I'm
yeah,
giving a tattoo.
that's a great example.
Wait, so they would say, yeah, dude, like I'm gonna sell my home in a week, or call
Call
me.
me back next. We're gonna set up appointments next week, or we're gonna do something
Oh.
next week. All the excuses that they push you to the next person. And I called them back the next week, and every single one of us with another agent. And I'm like, okay. And I had good conversations with some of these people. Like I had
Yeah,
10, 15-minute
they
conversations with some.
betrayed you. We had the conversations. We had a thing.
They portrayed me. We had a bond, man. We had a bond.
Yeah, come on, man.
And so, but it really opened my eyes, and I'm like, fuck, I really need to, like, I got to start pushing.
Are you
So
so you're pushing? Are you getting appointments right there at the door? For me, expired, I've only gotten maybe like 2 appointments right there at the door.
well, I've never door knocked expires. To be fair, this
Oh,
is all on the phone.
okay. Yeah, dude, you get some raw emotion sometimes knocking them.
I believe it.
Dude, and like I mean, not to say, like I almost don't believe when BC's like, go back, just go back. I'm like, really? I'm like, this guy freaking looked me like dead in the eyes and like screamed at me. He's like, no, go back.
Yeah.
And this lady like screamed me off 2 times off her porch. And the third time we started to talk, she didn't give me her number. She's like, no. And I'm like good conversation and the phone number? No. And then the fourth time, she's like, yes, so I still want to sell it. Maybe I'll try to keep it, but I'm going to sell it in June, blah, 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 exchange numbers. And the funniest thing was like, cool, I'll text you my number. And then when I text her the number, she must have seen, and I forgot about this, because I did mass text.
Uh,
And it was like, hey, I saw that you were expired. Da, da, da. Do you still want to sell it? I'm no. And then it was like, hey, this is Jason. And she's like, oh, cool. And she like gave that a thumbs up. But as if she saw the history before of like, fuck off.
that's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. And when I heard that story, I was like, man, dude, I'm like, this is all like, it's a tough journey what we're doing, right? And it's like, I always, because I know all the stuff I go through, emotions, mentally, and then, to see, then when I see you in the group out there and you're putting out the videos and I look at your pages and stuff and I see like you're putting out the stuff, I'm like, man, it just creates that mutual, I feel like, feeling of respect where I'm like, man, this dude's doing it too.
Thanks,
And
man.
that's the cool thing to me about the community, BC. And, I feel like I'm very passionate, but it's made such an impact on my life that it's
People
like,
actually doing it.
because we would never connect at that stage, right? But we're both in that growing process. We're both improving, and we're just out here. Everybody's on their own path, and it's cool to see people out here taking action. Because I do a lot of sales calls for that stuff, and I even the people in the people in my sphere and agents that I know, and even my past, where I see how hard it was for me to break that barrier. And then you're out there doing it left and right, taking action left and right. You're getting results left and right. And it's been the same experience for me. I've been really taking action hard, and I'm seeing a lot of I guess you could say I'm so like the sowing is coming from the reaping. And
Yeah.
I just it's really cool to see you out there doing it because like it's
Thanks,
just
man.
being a part of the same journey.
That's cool that you, and then like I get the same thing when I door knock, like sometimes a door knock, and when somebody doesn't really answer the door, they stand behind the security gate, or they just peek their head, or they're through
Yeah,
the window. And
yeah,
one
yeah.
dude's like, hey, keep sending those videos because I make YouTube videos, but after a while, like I wanted to get monetized. I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
So like what I do is I make the YouTube video and then I email it out to my farm. And one dude, I'm like, hey, do you know anybody who wants to sell their home? I don't even really recognize the house, or I can't see the dude. And he's like, hey, thanks for sending those email videos every week. Those are great. And I'm like, cool. Who are you? Who are you? I don't remember you. I don't remember this house.
That's
Yeah.
that's badass, dude.
But when you said that you recognize me putting out the videos, I'm like, dude, I just put stuff out there. And to me, it's almost like a vortex of like 3 people see it and don't care. I'm just doing it just to do it, man. It's cool that you actually leave something behind and people actually like notice it. I forget, dude. I just hardcore just throw stuff out there. Like,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
really is, man. It's the weirdest thing, and most people like these are all the realizations that I'm getting because I've been doing it some too. And it's like most people aren't gonna watch it, and I'm okay with that. I don't expect most people to watch it, but the few that do, those are the people that are going to resonate with you. The few that do, those are the people that are going to maybe do business with you. That guy might, watch one of your videos, might not touch him for a year, and then come back and start watching him again right when he's about to sell, and he's like, "Fuck, I want to go with Jason."
couple of friends, dudes that I skateboarded with when I was like 13, like 20 years later. That's a trip. Message me on Instagram like that. That was pretty cool. That happened a few times. It's not really like all the time, but it's happening every so often.
Yeah, man, and same, dude. Like I had, I didn't post on social media for, I mean, basically my entire real estate career. And I was on a team, but when I started like getting close to BC, and I knew I needed to do it because I knew it was the
Real quick, we
opportunity.
got less than a minute.
Okay.
We could we could definitely post this for sure. I'll post it on YouTube, but we can still chit chat for like 10 or 15.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you can end it if you want to, or however you want to do it.
Or here, I'll just call you on Facebook video chat.
Okay, yeah, that works, dude.
Cool. Yeah, I still got it like 15 more minutes. All right, there we go. All right, and the Zoom will cut out in a minute.
Okay, I'm gonna answer that.